today. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use the epoxy on our coasters that we previously did some time ago. Um, I think that they're going to be gorgeous. They look very dull right now, but once we pour the epoxy, you're going to immediately kind of see them spring to life. Okay? All right, Mr. Early, say hello.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Okay, so what you want to do is you want to start flipping them.
Start flipping.
Yep, go ahead. Start flipping.
Grab one.
You're going to do these. No, you're just going to flip it. You're not.
Oh,
You're going to do two of each kind because this one was yours and this one was the ones I did.
okay.
So it just doesn't matter. Just put it up there. Yep, there we go. It doesn't matter whichever one that you want to do first.
Do that.
You can do whichever ones you want to do. Okay, so what he did was he used the same flip cup method that we normally do, and then now we're just going to pull up so the epoxy can flow. Try to get as much epoxy out of it as you can. And I'm just kind of swirling it so we can get some levelness because it looks like it's running to one side and you want it to run off. We already taped these, so they've already been taped. Um, just don't get too much um, don't get too much smushed down, like is what I'm saying. And if you have to, you can tip it to run it off. And if you can see that color, you can see how shiny that has become from the epoxy. Looking gorgeous. What I did for these is I also used a leveler to level these out so I knew that it would level out. And this is from Stone Coat Epoxy, and it's also a self-leveling agent in these. So you just got to make sure that they spread enough and that it levels out. And you want to, there's drips, you want to grab those drips along the sides. You don't really want to handle them too much. But if you just look at that, how the difference between this dull and that shiny, fabulous. What do you think, Mr. Early?
Love it. Beautiful.
They look good when you first pour them, but they look even better after they get that top coat on them. And so let me tip this one so I can move that epoxy because it looked like it fell down. Okay, I'm gonna pick up because we got to move this epoxy. I wasn't paying attention. I was doing that first one and then think about the second one. And you just got to make sure it moves along because it is self-leveling, so it's going to level itself out. But you got to make sure you get on all of the coaster. And I'm bringing it off the edge to make sure. Some people say that you should do 2 coats. I don't know yet if I need to do 2 coats, but if we have to, we will. And we still have that original tape that we put on. So if it do drip, it's going to come off because we have tape to protect the bottom where we put the um, cork. Okay, and then I'm going to torch. I'm going to torch mine because you want to make sure you get those air bubbles up off of the epoxy. That's really important to bring those air bubbles because you don't want those air bubbles to interfere with your design. Also, this helps to kind of heat up the epoxy to help it kind of move also. Who wouldn't want these gorgeous coasters in their home? Look at that. That shininess is just fabulous. And I'm just heating yours to get that any air bubbles. I don't even really see any air bubbles. I do see right here though, there is no epoxy on your edges. And right on this one. If you look at them, don't pick it up anymore because it's going to level if you just it's going to eventually level out, but you got to make sure. I think that's the reason why you do two coat epoxy. So if you don't catch it the first time, you catch it the second time. And you see what happened right here? We got epoxy on this other coaster, and we don't want it on there until we're ready. But just look at the difference. That is fabulous. That top coat really makes a big difference. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
What about yours? Oh, you're dripping.
Sorry.
Don't drip epoxy on the floor. We'll be re-waxing the floors. But look how the difference. Let me lift this tote up. See that? The ones on the left has been epoxy. The ones on the right has not. And you can see the difference between the dull and the shiny. That is fabulous. Okay, so I'm going to take this and put it in the other room out the way. You can start talking and telling them about the paint pour you're going to do.
Oh, yep. We will be doing another set of coasters. Dr. Early will be doing green, look like silver and white. I'll be doing red, white, blue, and what's this other one? What this color? Oh, I'll be using it. Oh, light gray. So we're gonna see how these turn out. And get this epoxy off.
Can't get any pair of gloves, honey. You don't gotta wash your hands. My husband is funny. He washing his hands because he got epoxy on the gloves. Are you crazy? They're disposable. They're disposable for a reason, to be disposed of. We have 2 more boxes, so it's okay. Okay, so the gloves are in that tote over there. Okay, so I'm back from disposing of or putting up the other box. So one thing I did was I set that tote on top of here. So before you start your coasters, always clean them. I already cleaned this set, but because I set that tote with the epoxy on it, I'm gonna just give them another wipe down, and it's just alcohol. I'm using 99% alcohol. I know these days alcohol is hard to find. It may be a little bit easier now, though. I don't know. And Mr. Early's has already been done. If you look at his coasters compared to mine, you probably can tell his is a little bigger. That's because his is the older style and mine is the newer style. The newer style of towels that they make is smaller. So see, if you look at that, it's a half an inch smaller. And so we searched and we searched and we searched. And this 4x4, or they used to be 4.5 by 4.5. They're now 4x4. But that's okay because I tested them out with a drink cup. And so if you imagine that as a drink cup, it still fits just fine. And so I think that your friends are gonna love these.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we can start with the next set. What color are you using today, Mr. Early?
I'll be using red, white, blue, and light gray.
Red, white, blue, and light gray.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yep. I will be using red, white, blue, and light gray.
Okay. Did you pour them in your little bitty cups? You used your little bitty cups
I
for
used
something
them
else?
already.
Okay. So here's some little cups. Making sure we keep these supplies on hand is a task in itself. I get most of this stuff on Amazon because you can get them in bulk. So I get all of the cups and all that stuff from Amazon. I try to go to local companies as much as I can. We have restaurant places here, but until we actually sell some of them, I don't want to buy the gigantic bulk of all the cups and stuff. So I haven't. So for me, I'm using green, gray, and white. Excuse me. This, don't forget, this is for your
Men's Ministry, Sons of David.
okay. And so here we go. We're doing the flip cup method as usual. I put my green on the bottom, gray on the middle, and white on the top.
Okay.
This is so much fun. I love doing this. Love mixing the colors. And if you don't want to invest a lot in the price of the colors, go to Joann's or Michael's or one of the stores and buy them in when they like they're today. I think there's a sale at Joann's that's a 10 for 10. I think it's 10 for 10 and the little 2-ounce bottles. We did because we're doing so many. We purchased these bottles. There we go. And they're let me get close to the camera. We bought these bottles and they're 8-ounce and they were $2.99 from Joann's. So and they're a matte finish, but once we get done with it, they're not gonna be matte because we're gonna put a glossy top coat. What I'm doing is I'm popping a little hole in them. Yeah, I'm putting a little hole in them so that the paint can open up. And what happened with mine is I waited too long and they started to slide. But that's okay. I didn't get that much green in it is what happened. But I'm fine with that. These are all going to come out really different based on how much I put in there. How much paint and stuff I put in there. I'm loving it though. And some of my green is dripping, so I'm just patting and tapping and putting it into places. You want to make sure that all of your sides, everything is covered. I didn't slide that way. And I have a big, gigantic bubble right on top. But as soon as I get through, I will pop that one right off. And then I'm going to pick up some of this paint and get some gray on this side. And you make sure that you're all the way covered all the way around. Okay? All the way covered. Look at that. That is so cute. Hi, Bonvi. Thank you for joining me. We're doing paint pouring today. One of my fun pastimes. Woo-hoo. Me and Mr. Early. He loves it. He really do. He loves doing this. And it's something that we do together, which is different. Because he won't sit down and make a card with me, but he'll do this with me. So it's called Take What You Can Get while I need to get in this good. Trying to tap some green in here because I don't have any green on that side. That is so cute. I love this green, gray, and white. Hi, Kathy. How you doing? Thank you for joining me. This is me and Mr. Early's paint pouring today. we decided to come on and do some paint pouring because we're getting ready for his men's group Christmas presents. We're giving them all a set of coasters. And
Sons of David.
And he get to tell them that he assisted in making all of these for them, which is fabulous. Okay. And this side, okay, happy wow. Yep, we're doing this paint pouring. This I love paint pouring. Since I started doing it, I first was not doing it because I was like, that stuff is too messy. I don't want to get paint everywhere, and so I really didn't want to do it. And then one day he seen it and he thought it was looked so much fun. And because he thought it was fun, I said I was gonna try it. So if you can tell, we're working in totes. We have
The mess is controlled.
yes, the mess is definitely controlled. We have puppy pads inside of the totes so that when they get too grungy, we can just lift them up. Um, it's looking at bucket right behind me, and right at the bottom you'll see them.
Okay.
You see them? And so that's how we actually started doing this. And I don't like mess all over the place. And so I kind of spearheaded putting them in these totes, and we got these totes from Home Depot. Okay, so I saw you win a prize on CC, but I missed what you won. Oh, Kathy, you won a prize. What did you win? Oh, you won the balloon set. Thank you. We're having a ball doing this. I think that this is some fun, really fun to make these, and they're going to be coasters when I'm done. This set is going to be coasters for his men's group, but I do have some that I'm going to have up on our Shopify store. I'll have some to sell in a set of 2. And if you go back to the really beginning of this video, you can see how we epoxy them so they look shiny, because once this paint dry, it's gonna dry dull. But once we epoxy them up, oh my goodness, they shine like new money. And so what I'm doing now is just popping bubbles and bringing up what they call sails from the paint. I'm loving it. Oh my God, Mr. Early, that is so cute. His color palette is really, really pretty. Um, Make sure to go all the way to that edge. You got to make sure they go all the way to the edge. Yep, don't get them on these. You get them on these too. That's really cute. Try not to lose that blue as much as possible if you can. I know. I didn't realize it was card making day today either. So I'm going to make some cards later on and maybe do some kind of show and tell or something. Okay, Mr. Early, you dripping on these towels. You're going to have to clean them when you get through. That is really pretty. I like that. That's really, really pretty. It's sliding off. You got to be a little quicker, especially if you stick them. Don't let it drip on that coaster. What I'm going to have to do is make sure that when you're working, you don't have so many coasters in the way. Plus, once you get to the smaller size, it's a little bit easier.
It's the last of the big ones.
Yeah, that's the last of the big ones. I think it's 3 more big ones, and I'm just going to reserve them for like
later.
No, we got to do some for your new son-in-law to be.
Oh, okay.
Gorgeous. Say gorgeous, Mr. Early. Kathy Fox, she says it's gorgeous.
Thank you. I'm gonna blush.
It's so much fun. It's really easy to do too. Tap on the top of that so that red can get over there. No, tap on top right there. You see how it's on? Yes, top. Okay. What you got to do is you got to flow quicker. You got to tip quicker. Is what I'm saying. You got to lift the paint up, honey. You got to lift the bucket up. Yeah, I think you're right, Bonvi. I think if you go into the Sewing and Craft Academy, um, post some of your cards. No, I only have one daughter, and she's getting married. She's getting married. She's well, this is the thing. they they want to have a wedding, but they really don't want to have a wedding. They want to just get married, but we're trying to figure that all out because they want to just hop to Vegas because they want to buy a house or they're buying a house. And so my daughter's like, "Mom, we can go to Vegas and get this marriage over with." So yeah, his is patriotic, isn't it? It's red, white, blue, and light gray. Really pretty. Oh, I love that. You know what though? The last one you gotta do it. The the blue is not really coming through like I thought it was. You must have didn't do a lot of blue. Oh, it's the blue and gray mixing together. I think that gray. You put the gray on top of the blue.
No, the blue's on top, but it wound up being on the bottom.
On the bottom, and in order for it to show up, it should have been on the top, which means you put it in first. You got to tip. Don't be afraid for that paint to float, Mr. Early. See, just let it flow and keep it moving. I love that. He did such a good job. He's still learning. So am I. We both still learning. I just am an avid crafter, so I pretty much pick up on things like this quickly. Look at that. That is so cute. You want me to run it with the torch?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I got the little blow torch, and I'm going to bring up his bubbles. And once you bring up the bubbles like this, if you see this part right here, these bubbles or these sails are coming right all the way up. And that happens because of, I think, the mixture of the Floetrol and the white paint. Because we don't add water or anything like that. We use Gluol, Floetrol, and blending medium. Just a little bit of blending medium. But we're not going to use that anymore because it's expensive. And you can replace the blending medium with water. He has turned out so pretty. I love it. Okay, I'm hearing pop-up of comments. Let's go see. Yes, Bonvi. The color that you want, you put that on the bottom because once it come out, it'll be on the top. And so you just try it in different mediums. So my green in here, I put this green on the bottom. And so when I flip the cup up, it's on top. And so that's how I have permanent green. Plus, I had a lot of green in mine too. I used a lot here, and then I got smaller and smaller amounts of green. Plus, when I lift my cup, so I flip it down like this. I don't do that. I do this, and it makes it swirl around, which makes it blend more. Yeah, you can. You can view Facebook page even if you don't have a page. And so these are our 8 coasters that we did today. I think that they look fabulous. Don't you, Mr. Early?
Woohoo!
I think they look great. So we're going to do the other 4 after we mix up some paints because I'm going to do the green, gray, and black this time instead of white. So I'll have a different kind of array with that green and gray. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I don't know what colors Mr. Early is gonna do next, but I may take a picture and put them on Facebook on the Sewing Academy page so you can see what they look like. All right, thank y'all so much for joining me today. This has been so much fun. I love this paint pouring process. We bought like how many of these totes? Like 6 or 8. We bought 8 totes. We could do 8 coasters at a time. So we're gonna make sure that this project is done on time because it takes 2 weeks for these to cure, and then a week after that to cure with the epoxy on it. And if we decide to do 2 coats of epoxy, it takes 2 or 3 days in between each coat. So we have to make sure these are all done in the next couple of weeks so that they'll be done by Christmas. Where you go for Facebook to post your pictures, I'm gonna put it in the chat. It's the and Sewing and Craft Academy. That is the page. You may have to request to become a member, but I think if you're just viewing, you don't have to. I'll find out and see, because I'm not really Facebook savvy too much. I'm not really a social media person. I only do YouTube because I already take videos, and it just happened that they go up there. And they go on Facebook at the same time in the Sewing and Craft Academy because I use Restream, which allows you to stream to 2 places at once. And I only found that out because I was shopping for places to do the stream at. That's the only reason why I found that out. And so I've been listening at the YouTube videos. I've been chatting with them and calling them, and that's how I really found out. A lot of investigation type work. But I'm loving it. This is wonderful. I have what you see here is my webcam. That's why it looks so different. I have a 920 webcam that I'm videotaping from right now. I'm not using my regular DSLR camera. And I'm on my dining room table because my craft room has no room to do this stuff. So, all right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me. Please look out for our first episode of The Business of Crafting. It's going to be on my podcast channel, which is Buzzspot. And I'm going to have that up sometime next week. I was supposed to have it this week, but I didn't do that because I'm lazy. No, I'm not lazy. I forgot that you have to set the account up and stuff. And so I have to do all of that back end work. So I will be back later on today with some show and tell. No. You know what I'm doing today? I did the cutout to do the Anna Griffin advent calendar. That's what I'm doing later on today. I've already cut out the pieces, and that's what I'll be making for National Card Making Day. All right, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you all. Say goodbye,
Bless
Mr.
y'all.
Early.
See y'all later.